Okay, Medivh the Guardian. Battle Cry, equip Atish, Quarterstaff, Great Staff of the Guardian. So it's a weapon. It has 1 attack, 3 durability, and the text is saying whenever you play a spell, summon a random minion with the same mana cost on the board. So you play Medivh, you play Firelands Portal, you get a random 2 random 5 drop, a random 7 drop and random 5 drop, and you deal 5 damage if you have this weapon equipped. And it's 8 mana 7/7 drop. So my first impression was it's too slow, right? You pay 7 mana for 7/7 and it doesn't do anything. Compared to Ragnar's, it launches a fireball, and sometimes it just kills your opponent, or at this moment you can set up a situation where it either kills a creature or kills your opponent, or just playing a terrible deck and it doesn't do anything. The fireball, if it hit face. So where's this weapon good at? When you have expensive spells, if you cast just cheap spells, value shouldn't be so high. You get a 7/7 immediately, and the next turn you can cast, like, let's say 2 mana spell, 3 mana spell, 2 mana spell, if you have cheap spells. You need also to have spells, they are situational, so you need to have a good situation to cast the spells. Or otherwise they might be not efficient enough, and a random 2 drop is underwhelming by itself. So you need to have like big spells, and they must be non-situational. Call of the Wild is like the best example. Non-situational spell, you get a creature, your opponent oftentimes will just board clear your board after, so anyway, even with animal companions. But having an 8 drop, it might be big and not so easy to remove. But is it good in Hunter? It's really slow. And you probably want to play Call of the Wild before playing Medivh, because it's 8 drop, same mana cost. Mage has Firelands Portals now, so you can say it might work with Mage, and it kind of makes sense. Let's say you play Medivh on 8, and then on 9 you have Firelands Portal into Frostbolt, or any other spell. It's 2 mana cost or less. So you kind of playing a weak 8 drop, kind of. 7/7 is fine. And then use Firelands Portal and spell to regain board control. Your opponent will obviously play something, because you give him a chance to do it. And then you can deal 5 damage to this minion, and summon your own creature, which is big, and summon random 5 drop. Just take a board back. Then it works. A mage can also have other very expensive spells. Let's say in Flame Strike Mage or Grinder Mage. You can use this Medivh with very good success, I think. Because you can play like Frost Nova, Blizzard. It's like Summoning Stone, but it doesn't require mana to be summoned, you just have it. The way to counter it is obviously Hyacin Jones and Ooze. But you still get a 7/7 on the board. And if you play Grinder Mage, oftentimes you don't mind if your opponent draws cards. So let's say in control matchup against Control Warrior, it's fine if it takes the weapon. So what else? Like, what other classes can I see it being useful? In Handlock we can use Shadow Flame, Hellfire, Siphon Soul, Twisting Nether. Actually, if you play Twisting Nether, I think it will kill your own minion, so it probably doesn't work. I think if you play Cho'Gall, I don't know how it interacts with Cho'Gall. It says the spell costs health instead of mana, but it still costs, right? So probably it works with Cho'Gall as well. It might be playable in Handlock. In Shaman, I don't think so. Rogue, I don't think so. This one is sprint, and it's slow. In Priest it can be good. You can probably even play one Mind Control. Holy Fire, Entomb, Holy Nova. Yep. In Paladin, maybe. But Paladin has already so many competitive 8 drops, so most likely no. And in Druid, most likely no too. There are spells, but 7/7 doesn't do much. For Druid it's too slow, I think, and spells aren't like rewarding enough to play them. Yeah, so interesting card, might be good. We'll definitely try it. Wyrm. 6 mana 3/6 dragon, battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, destroy an enemy minion with 3 attack or less. So we get a 6 drop with 3/6 stats, and text is basically equal Shadow Word Pain, Priest spell. Alright, so in Hearthstone we have creatures which are implying an effect, and it does same as some kind of spell. The Aldo Peacekeeper 3/3 stats, and it casts 1 mana cost spell. 7 Blood Ravaging Ghoul, same stats, casts Whirlwind. They're cheap and they have decent stats. But Pain worth 3 mana. In case of that creatures, it was 1 mana. Their battle cry. So let's reduce mana cost of Bookworm to 5 and say it's 1 mana spell, the Pain. And then we have a Dragon's Energy. You need to hold a dragon. It's a downside. We have a stats 3/6 when Aldo Peacekeeper is 3, as well as Ravaging Ghoul. We have Extreme Situational Spell, a lot of downsides, and it's 6 mana dragon. The upside is it's a dragon itself, so in dragon deck it will activate other dragon based cards. 3/6 for 6 is slow, and you normally want to kill minion with 3 attack or less at the beginning of the game. Remember how Priest has no way of using Shadow Word Pain when you draw it late? So it will be the same with this dragon. It will be really difficult to find a target to play this battle cry on. So I think it's unplayable. Kazham. Summon a 1/1 candle, 2/2 broom, and 3/3 teapot. Warlock spell for 5 mana. So it works with Medivh, if you get the stuff and play this card. Outcome is... so stats wise, you get same stats as you play Silverhand Knight. But you had the value spread into 1/1 and 3/3 instead. Silverhand Knight is not a good creature to have, so this spell is underwhelming. The benefit is it's a non-situational spell you can cast whenever if you play Medivh in Warlock. So in Arena Luck, if you play Medivh, I think it can fit. Silverhand Knight isn't terrible. If you will unite stats, you'll get a 6/6, which is not terrible. It's not situational, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, I think in Arena Luck, if Medivh will be playable, then this card is worth to try, and otherwise it's not good. Prince Malchezaar. When the game starts, add 5 extra legendary minions to your deck. 5 mana, 5/6. Stats equal to Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter is not playable, so people don't use it in Constructed. Okay, so we have 35 card deck, and we have 5 legendaries in it. Random ones. I think it's bad. You will not lose control Warrior Mirror, but other than that, it's like so terrible to have 5 random legendaries in your deck. You'll be drawing them, and they will be not playable, they will be terrible. You know how many bad legendaries in Hearthstone? You just play Monkey, how often you get Lorewalker Chorn, Peggle Dagfisher? Stats aren't even beneficial, so Minion by itself is quite mediocre. Minion by itself is not good enough to put into your deck, so why would you play this and make your deck weaker? I think it's just bad. Protect the King, Warrior spell. For each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 pawn with Taunt. So it's like Unleash the Hounds, but instead of charge, the keyword is Taunt. And keyword Taunt is weaker than keyword charge. And it's 1/1s. 1/1s are weak against any AoE like Swipe. But they have Taunt, and Warrior has card Bolster, which is still garbage. And it's a bad spell, it's not good for Arena, it's not good for Constructed. It's just empty. Nothing. No use. Bad. 3 mana 1/1 Stealth. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Steward. So I think mostly about Zoo when I see this card. But I think it's really bad, because a 1/1 Stealth, we have this Patient Assassin, and it has such a good use if you manage to pull it off, and still no one is playing it. Because just like Swipe, Fan of Knives, stuff like that will counter it, and your opponent draws a card. Let's say if Rogue uses Fan of Knives against you, it's kind of okay, but they can just not play it, because it's not a threat. You can always play Fan of Knives next turn, you can just play Pillager first and play Fan of Knives. Against Warriors they can Ghoul, just dies too easily. Forbidden Ritual is just better. No, it's bad. For Arena it's okay, I think. For constructed, it's terrible. Silverware Golem. 3 mana, 3/3 Warlock minion. If you discard this minion, summon it. Right, so let's talk about 3 mana 3/3s. They're not so good. Normally get a 3/4, and 3/4 is not even good enough to play. For Warlock, a 3-drop is already really filled. We have 1/5 Concealman and Imgin Boss. So just when you can discard this creature, playing a 3 mana 3/3, it's really underwhelming. But then we already, yeah, there will be another discard card which will be at the bottom. I'll talk about it later. So if the existing cards with discard, what do we have? Doomguard, Soulfire, Feast of Jaraxxus, and Darkshire Librarian. So one of the best cards to put, it's obviously Soulfire. You can use it in your deck. It's already been used right now. Sometimes one. But it will change. I think people will use too. And Doomguards, they're already in deck. So you have 4 cards with discard. Technically you can put Darkshire Librarian into your deck. 3 mana 3/2, which is not bad. So I think it will be used too. So we have like 6 cards which are discarding a card. And if you manage to land a discard on Silverware Golem, it's crazy. You basically get a 3/3 for 0 mana. Tempo wise, it's really good. If you play Doomguard and the only card you're holding in deck in hand, then you get a 5/7 and 3/3 for free. Because any other card would have been just discarded. Succubus. Succubus is a bad minion. Darkshire Librarian is much better. I think it's good. Yeah, if you play 6 cards with discard, it should be good. Even when you just slam a 3/3, it's not like end of the world for Zoo. So I can definitely see it being played. And a lot of RNG related moments will happen too because of the discard mechanic. Sad face, more RNG. Malchezaar Imp, it's the card I mentioned, like another card Warlock will have this discard mechanic. That's a really good creature because it just extremely powerful. For Warlock, having 1/3 is fine. You can buff it with other minions and you already use Voidwalkers. Voidwalker has Stoned. This card has stronger effect, I think, compared to Voidwalker. I think it will replace Argent Squires in decks. You'll have Malchezaar Imps in it instead. So we have a 1/3 demon. Whenever you discard a card, draw a card. 1 mana, yeah. Good, right? You play this guy, then you play Darkshire Librarian, profit. Extra card. You play 3/2 creature and it draws you a card. 3/2 draw a card. It's really powerful, it's like Loot Hoarder, but it's a 1/1 stats plus. And it will happen really often when your opponent can kill the 1/3, because it's not so easy. It's basically only Fiery Warrocks or Extraordinary Champion from Warrior. Any other deck will not be able to deal with it. I guess like Rock Biter Weapon, stuff like that, like regular stuff which can kill the creature. But even if it dies, like, what's the problem? It's a 1-drop. Right, it killed, like, it dies. What happens with the minions? If you play it and you slam a Doomguard, it's just a 5/7 with no drawback, right? Because every card you will discard, you will draw. So if you have the Imp on the board and you play Doomguard, there will be no drawback for it. Whether or not you have 0 cards in hand or you have 2, you'll still end up being with the same amount of cards you have after you play it. What if you have 2 Imps on the board and you play Soulfire? You deal 4 damage for 1 mana and you draw 2 cards? Basically 1 card. How crazy is it? It's a really good creature. Zoo will play it, and because of this card, Darkshire Librarian will be useful. Babbling Book. Battlecry, add a random mage spell to your hand. 1 mana 1/1 mage card. Okay, so we have Barnes. I think Barnes can be good in some kind of mage decks. For example, Flame Waker Mage, you can summon Flame Waker. You can summon many minions with spell power. You can get Archmage Internidus if you play it. You can get Emperor Torison if you put it into a deck. You can get Ragnaros if you have it. Basically, every minion will have some kind of effect. Mana Wyrm, 3/2s, they all do something. Blood Mage Talnos. So if you play Barnes, you can also play Babbling Book. I mean, if you get it, it's basically a card, and you get a spell. You get a 1/1 from it, you draw a card, right? It's like getting the Blood Mage, but no spell power. It's good. So, What about the card by itself? Okay, Barnes value. Barnes can be playable in Mage, in Flamewaker Mage. What about other mages? You just play a 1/1 and it draws you a random spell. It gives you a random spell. I don't think it's good for grinder mages or for more greedy mages, because 1 mana 1/1 isn't so beneficial if you just get it like that, not get it from Barnes or something. And if you don't have Flamewaker in deck, random spell has much less value. You can buff your mana Wyrms if you play it in Grinder Mage, so it's really only for Flamewaker deck. Even if it's playable, it's only for Flamewaker. So is it good there? So random spell can buff all your stuff still, and you still get a 1/1 creature. It's like a Nomish Inventor, but it's 1 mana less, and it's really a big deal, because let's say against Hunter, what mage normally does if there's no mana Wyrm? You skip the turn on 1, right? What's on 2? On 2 we play a 3/2, or we remove, let's say against Hunter, you remove a minion with your own removal. But if you play Babbling Book, and Hunter plays a 3/2, you can just trade and use hero power. So basically you get a random spell as a benefit, because you didn't spend your removal, you have it in the deck already. You didn't play a 3/2, Hunter can just kill or trade into it. You get value from it. So in this case it's really good. And against some classes, like 1/1 won't do much. Let's say against Zoo, there will be not only Voidwalkers, but these imps. 2 with 1/3 stats, and against it Babbling Book won't do anything. But you still get a random spell, so it's not terrible. If you top deck it from like a deck when you have Flamewake in hand and you're just waiting for a spell, it kind of sucks. You would much rather have a spell. You top deck. But I think it's good for Flamewaker. I think 2 in Flamewaker deck for sure, and 0 in any other deck. Just a cool little minion. Pompous Thespian. 2 mana 3/2 taunt. It's bad. It's decent for arena. I mean 3/2 for 2 mana for arena. It has taunt. It's okay. I mean for constructed it's just terrible. Nothing to talk about. 3 mana 3/3. Neutral, mech, battlecry, give a random friendly beast, dragon and Murloc +1/+1. Okay, so where can it be useful? Aggressive deck with beasts, dragons and Murlocs in it. Or at least beasts and dragons. I don't recall any. I don't know, like this is a card curator which draws you a beast, Murloc and a dragon. But it's more like for control deck, I think. And control deck won't run a 3 mana 3/3. Control deck doesn't have a board to buff normally, because every minion is just getting killed immediately. Okay, we can play like a zoo with Murlocs in it. I don't know, it seems a bit too situational. I guess if you play like other drakes in Hunter and you play Curator in Hunter, it kind of solves the problem of drawing cards sometimes if you run tracking. So kind of slower Hunter will probably have some benefit of Zoo, but I mean, Necro Warlock already runs Drive of Alpha, but it's not even close to put anything else other than already made list. And we have like crazy discard mechanics coming. I don't think for Warlock it makes any sense to put like Murlocs and Beasts into the deck. Druid has Encanced Raven now, so technically Beast Druid can run other Drake. Beast Druid can run Seraphine. There is a combo of Druid of the Saber. You can make a 4/3 stealth. But it's basically, if you buff one minion, it's like an unnerved Shattered Sun Cleric. It's extremely situational. Do you really want to play it? I think it's bad. For arena, it's just a 3/3. I don't think it will be used. Even on like optimal situations, just getting +1/+1 buff, it's not a game breaking. And when you have such a situational creature, it needs to have at least a 3/4 stats. So I would say no. You won't see it used.
This video is brought to you by G2A.com.